Welcome back everyone. Time to do another comparison between the newly released iPhone 12 and a somewhat newly released Google phone, the Google Pixel 4a. Now these two are kind of budget phones, but the Pixel 4a is a far better priced budget phone in my opinion. Looking at both, you may think they're about the same type of phone quality, but the iPhone 12 costs $829. The Google Pixel 4a costs $349. So let's go and see what the main differences are between them. If you want to pick either of these ones up, I'll find the cheapest ones on Amazon. Link them down in the description below. You can get them from there. Help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can kind of see that the Pixel 4a and the iPhone 12 are about the same size. I really don't think one is way bigger than the other one. Holding them in the hand, the Pixel 4a does seem a little bit more narrower. The iPhone 12 seems wider. Now, the Pixel 4a has that 5.8 1-inch OLED panel on the front. It's 1080p, and it's actually not a bad panel. I've said this time and time again. I feel like the panel on this phone is probably one of its biggest assets. When you're using a phone like this, you don't really feel like you're using a $350 brand new device, in terms of the front. Now you have that hole punch display, which looks really good. And other than that, it's a pretty decent panel. I was actually surprised that Google was able to pull off a phone like this at this price tag. They did skimp out in a couple of different areas, but I think for the front panel, the Pixel 4a actually has a pretty good panel, where the iPhone 12 has that 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel, and it's 1170p, so a little bit higher than 1080p. And I think overall, it looks really good. With the flat sides of the phone, it actually does add a little bit more flavor to the panel, in my opinion, rather than the curved sides on other phones, even other iPhones. And you have that notch up top. Now the front, I think the design looks better on the Pixel 4a, which is funny because it's cheaper. But I think in terms of the screen and the panel itself, I would probably have to give that to the iPhone 12. I feel like the iPhone 12 has a better panel, but the Pixel 4a still looks pretty good for the most part. In terms of the thickness though, I actually do kind of get the impression that the Pixel 4a may be a little bit thinner or thicker. I don't know. They both kind of feel the same. Since the flat side's on the iPhone 12, it kind of gives the impression that it's thicker. But because the Pixel 4a has a little bit of a curve here, it may seem a little bit thinner. I don't know. But I don't think one is way thicker or way thinner than the other one. And on the back, you can see, a glass back on the iPhone 12, where we have the plastic back on the Pixel 4a, and that's what makes this phone feel super cheap. You have the fingerprint sensor here and a single camera setup, a dual camera setup on the iPhone 12, which we'll get into in a second. But just the build quality overall, I think is much, much better on the iPhone 12. And for sure, at the end of the day, I think that's pretty much what you're paying for. You're paying for the better build quality, which is something that's pretty important. I think the iPhone 12 feels better in the hand. The Pixel 4a, for the most part, is still a really good built phone for the most part. If you put a case on it, I guess it doesn't really matter, but the iPhone 12 definitely feels better. You're also getting IP certification and wireless charging on the iPhone 12, where you're not really getting that on the Pixel 4a. So definitely it's cheaper than the iPhone 12, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has a better, budget priced, or it's a better priced phone, I think, but the iPhone 12 definitely feels better in the hand. So in terms of the outside, that pretty much covers it up. In terms of the software, again, Android here, iOS here. This one is running Android 10 currently, but it will be getting Android 11. I think very, very soon. It already has it. The iPhone 12 is running iOS 14, specifically 14.1. Hasn't gotten an update yet as of me making this video. It may be as soon as I upload it. But I'll definitely tell you, when it comes down to the software in both, both of them are going to be lasting for a long time. The Pixels are usually like the iPhones of Android, so this phone is still going to be lasting for a while, still a couple more years. So I wouldn't really worry about software in either one of these phones just yet. But the iPhone 12 will overtake the Pixel 4a at some point, probably in the next 3 years. We'll see that the iPhone 12 is still getting updates. The Pixel 4a will probably stop getting updates around that time, 3 to 4 years from now. So definitely not anytime soon. So that's when we can start worrying about it. So in terms of that, that pretty much covers it up. Let's go and do a little bit of a speed test between both phones. The Pixel 4a has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 730G chipset, an Adreno 618 GPU, and 6 GB of RAM, where the iPhone 12 has that Apple A14 Bionic chip, hex-core CPU, and 4 GB of RAM inside of it. So let's go and see which one is the better performing phone between both of these. Okay, let's go and clear out all the apps in the background, and I think we're already clear on both. So let's go and start opening them up. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And I think the iPhone 12 was definitely far faster there. Let's do Play Store, 3, 2, 1, or their designated app stores. The Pixel 4a was actually able to open that up, the iPhone 12 shortly behind it. And I've been seeing that the Pixels and just Androids in general are able to open up their apps, at least the Play Store faster. In terms of the smoothness factor, I think the iPhone 12 definitely wins in terms of the smoothness factor there. Now I have a bunch of these third-party apps that we can go and get into. Let's do Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And I don't know if the iPhone 12 may be the better one here. The Pixel 4a a little bit behind it. Again, Not an amazingly crazy difference, but definitely the iPhone 12 was the far faster one here. The Pixel 4a eventually gets into it, getting into some actual gameplay. Let's see if there's a difference. I don't know if there's going to be, but definitely when it came down to it, the iPhone 12 I think was the faster one there. Gameplay wise, they look about the same. In terms of the gestures, though, when I swipe out, you can see kind of the same layout too, not a big difference. Let's do BOFA 3, 2, 1. And I think when I click open the app, the animations were faster on the iPhone 12 for sure. The iPhone 12 one there too. Quizlet 3, 2, 1. I guess I don't have Dropbox anymore. Again, iPhone 12 is faster. Pixel 4a a little bit behind it. Netflix 3, 2, 1. And again, the iPhone 12 is faster. The Pixel 4a is stuck, I guess. I don't really know what's going on with it. I'm just going to assume that the iPhone 12 is the faster one here. I don't really know what happened there. Snake versus Blocks 3, 2, 1. And I think actually the Pixel 4a was just slightly faster there. I looked away for like a second and I knew I shouldn't have. In terms of the gameplay though, they look about the same on both. I don't really think there's a big difference, but definitely maybe the Pixel 4a was faster there. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. And these app icons are so small in this one, I can't even tell which one is which. And I don't really know which one was faster there. Maybe the Pixel 4a, this one loaded up faster. It was very weird. I'll let you guys kind of figure out which one was faster there. But gameplay wise, they look about the same in terms of gameplay as you guys could pretty much see. Let's do Fruit Ninja 3, 2, 1. Now I don't know if it's going to open up on this phone. I've had a lot of issues, or the Pixel 4a. I've had a lot of issues with this app for some reason. And even to get into this panel, the loading panel was faster on the iPhone 12. So I'll probably give it that benefit of the doubt. I knew I was going to get on this specific panel here. Let's go ahead and do Instagram 3, 2, 1. I don't really know which one was faster here either. They looked about the same. Facebook 3, 2, 1. And I think the iPhone 12 was far faster there for sure. Twitter 3, 2, 1. Again, iPhone 12 faster. Pixel 4a a little bit behind. We can do Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. I can't even speak today. I'm having so many stuttering problems. And I don't know which one is going to be faster here because whichever phone I'm going to say is probably going to be the opposite. And we do have the Pixel 4a having to download that specific app. So I think in this specific little comparison, as I said before, this was a pretty basic one. I didn't want to go super crazy because I don't really know if one is going to be exactly the best winner every single time. So kind of what I can tell you is I think the iPhone 12 may be the smoother and maybe the faster device. Not every single time. I still think the Pixel 4a did a tremendous job today. And this is a $350 phone. Keep that in mind. The iPhone 12, I think, did a really good job, but it's kind of expected. This is a $829 phone, but you're definitely not getting, I think, twice the amount of performance on the iPhone 12. And the iPhone 12 costs more than twice the price. So I really don't think you're getting that. And that the Pixel, and I think the iPhone 12 actually restarted that app. I didn't really get that at first. Let me go and get into this one. And actually the Pixel 4a may have better RAM management. You can see that the iPhone 12 is actually closing out of those apps. So let me go and get in this one. I guess this one will never really open up on the Pixel 4a, to be honest. Let's go and do another one. Let's do Snake versus Blocks. Okay, both were pretty good there. Let's do another one. Let's do something like, I guess, Thank You 3, 2, 1. And both of them were able to keep this one up. Let's do one more, and this will kind of give us an idea. And again, I don't really know. Both of them were restarting, to be honest. So maybe RAM management may have been better on a little bit on the Pixel 4a. If one had to be better, I would assume it's the Pixel 4a because the iPhone 12 is having really, really weird management issues right now. But I think at the end of the day, the Pixel 4a is good. It's a very good performing phone for the price. It's almost top tier in my opinion. From comparing these two phones, the iPhone 12 may be the smoother phone, but RAM management seemed to have been a little bit better on the Pixel 4a. So let's go in on the cameras. Now, the Pixel 4a, like I said, has that single 12.2 megapixel lens. The iPhone 12 has that 12 megapixel wide and 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor. In terms of the UIs, you're definitely getting, I think, a better UI experience on, I don't really know actually, you're getting more features, I think, from the Pixel 4a because you have the ability of downloading a bunch of different apps and all that stuff, which you still have on the iPhone 12, but I feel like there's more capability on an Android camera than on an iPhone camera, but in this case, I feel like the iPhone 12 may win here. Now, the Pixels were always known of having like the best cameras of that year, and I think even in this case, the Pixel 4a is a pretty good camera, but you can only do 4K at 30 on the back camera. The front camera is an 8 megapixel sensor. You can only do 1080p at 30, and I feel like that's a bigger deal to a lot more people, in my opinion. I feel like I'd rather have a better front-facing camera than a better back-facing camera, and in this case, with its wide-angle lens, there's still a lot of capability for sure, but you're definitely getting more capability from the iPhone 12, and I've already done a camera comparison between these two. I don't know when I'm dropping it, but you still have portrait mode, you can still do 4K at 30, you still have night sight, which is really cool, but I think the iPhone 12 probably wins here. You have portrait mode, you still have night mode and different things like that, but you have the ability of doing 4K at 60 on the back of this camera. You can have that 12 megapixel front facing camera that can do 4K at 60 as well. And you have that ultra wide sensor, which is really important. And I feel like overall, just the quality of the photo may look better on the iPhone 12 as well. I feel like this is a really good camera for the most part. Definitely, I don't think it's the best camera of this year, but the quality of the photos and videos are really good. So I'll probably give the edge to the iPhone 12 here. Now ending it off with the battery life, I did test both of these batteries, and you do have technically a bigger battery size on the Pixel 4a. What's really fascinating is that I found that the Pixel 4a from my test actually had better battery life than the iPhone 12. So that's something that's very fascinating. I honestly wasn't expecting to see it that way, but the Pixel 4a actually did beat the iPhone 12 in my battery test. So what I can tell you is in between both of these, should you pick up the iPhone 12? Should you pick up the Pixel 4a? What I can tell you is if you're on a budget, right, and you have to get a brand new phone, getting a Pixel 4a I think is a really good idea. It's $350. There's not that much to hate on it. It's a very safe phone. It's definitely not the best performing phone. It definitely doesn't have the best camera or the best battery life. But for $350 brand new, you can't really go wrong. You can even use this phone for a couple months, and if you hate it, you can go sell it off and get another one, which I probably won't recommend doing. That's kind of a dumb thing to say. But on this phone, you're getting a pretty good screen, a pretty current design. You're getting a fingerprint sensor on the back, which some people may prefer nowadays. You have a okay camera setup. You have a pretty good, build quality. You have 128 gigs, which is twice the amount of base storage than the iPhone 12 64 gigs. So that's another big deal. Performance is really good still, and RAM management may actually be better than the iPhone 12. But the iPhone 12 is the better phone, I think, overall, but it is more expensive. This is $829 versus the $349 for this. You're getting, I think, a bigger display, a better looking display as well. Even though it has the notch, I think the way it looks is better. A better looking camera, better performance overall. You're getting IP certification, wireless charging, and different things like that that nowadays are kind of like a given. The Pixel 4a doesn't have it, but I think when it comes down to both of these, I don't really think you can go wrong, but the iPhone 12 is more expensive. To be completely honest, I don't think the Pixel 4a is like half the amount of phone that the iPhone 12 is. The price of the iPhone 12 is like twice as much, over twice as much. And I don't think it's twice of a good phone than the Pixel 4a. I think if the iPhone 12 is like a 10 out of 10, I'd rate the Pixel 4a like maybe like a 7.5 out of 10. It's just missing wireless charging, like a better feeling back, but if they can put a glass back on here, they put a better camera setup and maybe added wireless charging and IP certification, I would call this pretty much a flagship, kind of like what the Pixel 5 is right now. I feel like this would have been a much better phone, but even then, like for 350, it's really not that bad. So that pretty much covers up this comparison. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that means so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.